New year, new movies, hopefully less crap. So welcome to Council of Geeks. My name is Nathaniel Wayne and I am joined for this particular outing by Ryan Daly.
Welcome. Thank you for having me again.
And about half of his voice. well,
more than you deserve.
Yeah, that's fair. So what we're going to do on this one is we're basically going to look at the movies that I thought would be interesting to talk about that are coming out in the first quarter of 2017. So that's January through March.
Okay.
There's a couple of movies coming out on the 20th of January. There is Split, which is the latest offering from M. Night Shyamalan. Stars James McAvoy, playing a character with, I believe it's 23 personalities,
Okay.
who kidnaps, I believe it's 3 young women, and they then are trying to figure out how to get out, and some of the personalities are willing to help them, some of the personalities want to outright harm them, some of them seem indifferent, some are obstacles, some are allies.
Everything about that sounds really cool and sounds like really, really interesting, and that could make for an amazing drama. Except for the thing that you led with,
Which was the name M. Night Shyamalan.
like his track record, his name is actually doing the opposite of what name recognition should do at this point.
Well, here's what I would say in regards to Split, and it sounds like it may have happened with The Visit as well, which is that in the wake of After Earth,
Okay.
it seems like no one's willing to give him a budget anymore. And I think the restraints of not having $100+ million to work with might be forcing him to knuckle down and get better.
I don't think I will see it unless I hear glowing reviews.
I think that's probably a wait for the reviews one for me as well. Now the other one coming out that same weekend is Vin Diesel returning to the franchise we all wanted him to come back to, XXX, the return of Xander Cage. Because is there any more late 90s, early 2000s sounding hero name than Xander Cage?
So I never saw the other XXX movies.
Neither did I.
Was there 2 or 3?
There were 2.
There was one with him, and then Ice Cube came in for the other one. Okay. Never saw either one. I don't imagine this one breaking that streak.
It's just so odd to me that this got financed. I mean, at this point, it should be pretty clear that Vin Diesel, who I actually like,
Sure. Oh yeah.
is not a box office draw himself. The Fast and the Furious movies, while I believe he is a part of the appeal of them, people don't go to see him. The fact that only the first movie starring Riddick made notable profits, and then the 2 that followed didn't really, kind of show people aren't in this for him. So after that, the last one I'll bring up for the end of January, Resident Evil, The Final Chapter, on January 27th.
Okay.
Now this is the 6th Resident Evil movie. I stopped after the 3rd one. I've seen bits and pieces of, I think, the 4th one? I don't even know.
I stopped after the arcade game in 1998. So I've never seen any. This is another one where I haven't seen the first one, and it's not. It was never like a problem with it. I mean, I know I like Mila Jovovich and things. Although, if I haven't seen any of these, that's probably like half of her filmography. Yeah, it's just something like the franchise just never really appealed to me. I'm not a zombie fan. Going to pass on this one. This one holds no real interest for me. All I can say is tangentially, I have heard people who do like this franchise, and as far as like a year ago, they were hyped up and they were excited for it. Well, that's the closest I can come to an endorsement.
Well, that's not quite nothing. So on February 3rd, Rings,
which is
the sequel to The Ring.
Oh, I get it.
This was supposed to come out at least almost a year ago. It got bounced from its release date twice.
Actually, that was going to be my questions. Seems like this would be a property that would have come out a year or 2 ago.
Yeah, this got bounced twice. I don't know what its original release date was, but it's being dumped in at the beginning of February.
Okay.
And so far as I can tell, the only thing that it's doing, that it's trying to update, is basically bring the concept into the internet and streaming age.
Okay.
So the idea is now, instead of having to pass around a VHS, people can just basically forward a YouTube video.
I won't see this one in theaters. Maybe if it's some night where I got nothing else to do, if it's on, if I can stream it or something, or if it's on one of the channels. But have they talked about cast? I mean, obviously it's coming out in a couple weeks. So.
It's a cast of unknowns.
Okay.
It's a cheap cast, which is part of why I'm slightly surprised that they didn't ultimately just dump it on DVD, because they obviously, if there's any money in it, it went into the visual presentation of the thing, not on the cast.
Even if you had like prepped me on what we were going to be doing, like what movies we were going to be talking about, I wouldn't have bothered to do research for this one anyway.
No, I wouldn't. Okay, maybe we'll get into something that. Well, we'll get into the February 10th releases, at least one of which I'm sure you at least care slightly about.
Okay.
But the first one of which, John Wick Chapter 2.
The first one flew right under my radar. I never heard of it. I didn't like. I think if like somebody mentioned like, oh yeah, it's Keanu Reeves' new movie, I was like, and as if I would care about that. But everybody, it sounded like everybody exploded over this movie. They were talking it up and like everybody was hyping it, but it felt like, to me, I was hearing all of that too late to actually go out and see it. The
first one, now I do think it's gotten overhyped. The action is phenomenal.
That's the concept.
The action and is terrific. Now, it loses a little bit of steam at the very end. I think the sort of the climactic fight doesn't quite measure up to a lot of what we've gotten up to that point, so it loses a little steam at the end. But when that thing's on, it's on. Okay. And here's the other thing that's really cool that I think gives it that extra edge, beyond just being really cool action. Okay. It does a lot of really fascinating world building. Okay. It's a very comic book world that it creates, actually, in terms of the dynamic that it establishes of these hitmen, how they operate, the rules they operate under, the reputations a lot of them have. Okay. It's just really efficiently built, not realistic, but awesome world.
I don't think I will see the sequel unless I get the chance to see the first one. If I can finagle within the next month or so to see John Wick, if it suitably impresses me, I might make the effort to see John Wick 2.
So the other one coming out that same weekend, the Lego Batman movie.
There's a chance I'll see it. A decent chance, because I like me some Batman. And I was impressed by the Lego movie.
I was going to ask if you saw the Lego movie.
I did see the Lego movie. I saw it once it came to like HBO or something. Really surprised me. I thought it was charming as hell. Really funny. I thought Batman was good in that in small doses, so I was a little bit hesitant. I was like, okay, you're giving him a whole movie. Is this something that's going to be able to sustain itself?
Have you seen the trailers, though?
I have seen some of them. They look good, but it's just... And you know where I'm coming from. The recent sort of bombshell in one of the promos, there's like this love interest or romantic subplot between Batman and Batgirl.
Yeah. I was so high on this movie, and then you told me that, and I'm like, crap.
I do, and it looks like it looks like it's a thing where Barbara Gordon might be older. Like she might actually be.
She is acting commissioner in this.
So she's not a teenager. She's not functioning like Batgirl.
Well,
more like, but it's still.
Even if that fixes the age thing,
that's still
his best friend's daughter.
That has always been my problem with a Batman-Batgirl relationship. It's not the age gap, because they also partner Batgirl with Robin, and depending on the kind of, she might be 10 years his senior. So no, it's the fact that Commissioner Gordon is Batman's quote-unquote best friend, and somebody that he has claimed in the past that is the only man I can trust. You're gonna do that with his daughter and not tell him who you are or who she is? So I hope that is not a major subplot of the Lego Batman movie, because I don't want that to detract, and I think it will. But probably I will see it in the theater if I have a chance.
I'm still planning to see it, and I might take my daughter to that one, because I can't show her most Batman stuff, unfortunately. She loves the Batman animated series, and she likes her some Batman, but I have to be selective. She could probably go in for this one. Okay, now up next, I'm pretty sure you have not heard of this, but allow me to describe this one to you. On the 24th of February, a movie called Get Out.
This is a horror movie.
It is.
And I've heard I heard somebody describing this one.
Okay.
Oh, is this Jordan Peele's movie?
This is Jordan Peele, wrote and directed what the trailer is painting as basically a riff on the Stepford Wives that tackles racism instead of misogyny.
Yeah, right, with Bradley Whitford, like from The West Wing, as this like prospective father-in-law, but like with this secret. Oh, no, I'm going to predict this will be incredible or horrible, nothing in between. No, there's no sliding scale for this one. It's going to be yeah, or it's going to be yeah. This is cool and timely as hell.
Oh, I'm going to be really curious because I think there's little doubt, and I think unfortunately it may have become even more relevant than even at the time he made it.
Right.
But there was no doubt that this was coming from a place of anger and frustration.
Right. And that can produce some amazing art at times.
Oh yeah,
so
it can.
I'm hoping for that one. Gosh, is that a movie that I'll see in the theater? I hope. If it's around, if I get the chance, I might actually seek that one out.
On March 3rd, Logan.
I didn't even realize it was coming out that early.
Yep.
Okay. I will see that. I will definitely see that. I've seen all of the X-Men related movies. I like James Mangold as a director. Copland is one of my all-time favorite movies. I really liked the Wolverine. Really liked it. Until about a half an hour before it ended. So I know it's somewhat based on Old Man Logan, which
I don't think the actual story is going to have anything. I think the only thing that they borrowed from Old Man Logan is putting it further in the future and the look.
Yeah, he's an old man in the Southwest.
The R rating, does that mean anything for you either way?
It does not. I've gotten good Wolverine on screen with a PG-13 rating.
Like, I think you look at from the second X-Men movie, him going berserk in the mansion when I think that is a full-on legit harsh Wolverine thing, and the only thing you can add to a scene like that is just a heck of a lot of blood.
Right.
You're not actually going to get a better or more visceral action sequence. You'll just get a messier one. I don't want it to be rated R for the reasons that Deadpool was rated R.
Sure.
I don't want it to be rated R because there's a lot of swearing and a lot of blood. And that's not a knock on Deadpool. That was a perfect fit for Deadpool. Sure. Those are the reasons a Deadpool movie should be rated R.
Agreed.
If you're going to give me a rated R Wolverine, I don't want the R rating to be because of those reasons.
Right. I will be seeing this to bid farewell to Hugh Jackman because I don't think I believe this is his swan song. I believe he wants this to be.
I would not rule out the possibility of him like cameoing in Deadpool 2, but in terms of full on doing Wolverine again, I'm pretty sure he's done.
Sure.
Coming out that same weekend, I'm assuming going for counter program.
Yeah.
T2 Trainspotting.
Okay. This was another one. I remember seeing the trailer for this a while ago. Completely like knocked me down. I was like, wait, what? I saw Trainspotting when it first came out. I liked it, but I didn't like it as much as everybody else I know liked it.
I actually haven't seen it since high school. So
yeah,
I don't even know how to assess it at this point.
Yeah, since when? Like 96, 97 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was the last time I saw it. I think I saw it once. Most of the people I know went crazy, go nuts over it. They thought it was like the best thing since sliced bread. I was like, yeah, okay, I didn't really get it that much. I saw the trailer for the sequel and I was like, okay, this looks fun.
I'm curious, and what's interesting is I've been hearing about this forever because I remember probably 12, 14 years ago because the book sequel, because Trainspotting was based off a book, and the book sequel had come out, and someone had asked Danny Boyle, would you be interested in doing a sequel to Trainspotting? Now, I'm not actually sure if the new movie is based directly on that book or not. But I do know that Danny Boyle's response was basically, oh, that'd be great, but they're all too young. We gotta wait like another 10 years, and they need to be legitimately aged away from what they were if we're ever gonna do that again. So I kind of love the idea that basically they all sat on this until they were old enough.
Probably not a theatrical viewing, but I wouldn't be opposed to seeing it at some point.
All right, so next up on March 10th, Kong. Skull Island.
Okay. It'll be interesting to see Tom Hiddleston in a different kind of role. That world of movies, I think I've seen all of them. I'm not living or dying with this one.
I'm not living or dying either, but it did make my most anticipated movies of this year because I grew up on the original King Kong, so I think I probably have more nostalgia wrapped up in the property than you do. So when I say I'm a sucker for it, I am, but I still need it to be good.
Sure. Oh yeah.
So I have my fingers crossed for this one because if it's good, it hits a soft spot.
Okay. Cool.
So after that, we have this one I'm pretty sure you haven't heard of, but I think is interesting and worth talking about. It's called the Belko Experiment. Comes out on March 17th. And what it is these people working at a company called Belko. One day, the building just gets locked down. Completely. And instructions start coming over the speaker. Instructions like, kill somebody right now, or we will kill 10 of you.
Okay. I have heard of this. I don't think I've seen a trailer or anything, but I think I've heard of this.
Now, part of why I find this interesting is the script is by James Gunn.
Okay.
And I have a feeling that if he was not currently making Guardians of the Galaxy, this is the sort of thing he'd probably be directing as well. Kind of like that he's not abandoning all that, because in case folks only know his work from Guardians of the Galaxy, he came up way back in the day in Troma, which is he did screenwriting for Troma movies, which are intentionally low budget, over the top, schlocky, huge gore movies. He wrote and directed a horror movie called Slither, which was sort of a riff on The Thing and From Beyond. It was body horror. It was funny.
It certainly has me intrigued. Probably going to be something where I wait and see, or I wait and listen to what people are saying about it. If it gets...
It's one of those things where, peek behind the curtains. We live in a rural area with a small local theater, so...
Probably...
Unless we're willing to drive 2 hours, it's probably not coming around here for its theatrical release.
Good point. Good point.
Oh, God. I keep forgetting this is happening. Power Rangers comes out on March 24th.
Really?
They've released one domestic trailer 3 months ago. They released one international trailer, which was just a shortened version of the domestic trailer. They have shown very, very little of a movie that is coming out in a couple of months. And what was in that trailer had, only at the very end of that trailer did they start to hint at showing at the suits and the outfits. There was no hint of the robots, the Zords. There was no hint of the monsters they would be fighting. I wonder if there really is maybe a half hour worth of genuine Power Ranger stuff going on here, and they don't want to admit to that because they couldn't afford to do what fans will have wanted them to do. I started to get a Canon Films Masters of the Universe vibe. I feel, looking at that trailer a second time, I'm starting to see all the shortcuts you've taken to try and save money. I look at the fact that they're getting their powers before they actually get the suits. I'm like, that could be cost saving if the suits involve a lot of CGI or anything else like that. I'm just seeing all these things you're trying to stretch a budget, aren't you? And to be fair, this is not a property I particularly care much about. But I know there is, at this point, for how long it's been on the air, multiple generations of people who do care about it. And they deserve a not crap movie.
Right. Yeah, I don't want to say I grew up with them, but they were around during my childhood, and I remember watching it. Probably a pass.
Oh, no, it's a definite pass for me. It's just, I feel bad because I don't begrudge fandoms that I'm not involved in.
Sure. No.
In my mind, if you like something, you deserve a good version of it.
Sure.
I mean, nobody should have a crap movie for something that they enjoy.
And we certainly know how that feels.
Yeah. So
we both looked at the camera and we both thought of 5 different movies.
Yeah. So last one we'll bring up, Ghost in the Shell.
Well, and you've been public on other episodes and everything, and other videos for how you feel about this. I have never seen the original manga. I'd heard about it long ago, and I heard it was beloved and very good. I've never read the manga. I've never seen the original movies. So I know a little bit about this property more by reputation and sort of some of the iconic imagery. When I heard they cast ScarJo, I was like, Okay, that seems like it's inviting trouble when they could have just aired a Japanese actress. At the other hand, ScarJo will bring in more audiences, and I really like Scarlett Johansson, and I like to look at her. So I'm not gonna really complain that I won't be that vocal in my opposition to it. So I saw the trailer for it, and I know you have a lot of reservations about this, just almost conceptually. I'm excited for this. I think it looks really, really cool. And again, I don't have the built-in, like, established love for this property. I don't have all of the connection to it that you have and all of your prior knowledge. I'm just going based on the 2 or 3 minutes of footage that I've seen and some of the behind the scenes stuff. I think it looks really cool. I want to see this.
Actually, it's kind of nice for me to hear from the perspective of someone who doesn't know the property.
Yeah.
And the thing, and as of this recording, I haven't read the manga yet. Yeah. I'm going to plug for my other podcasting venture, Punch Like a Girl. The plan is to have the March episode of Punch Like a Girl cover Ghost in the Shell. That's a fingers crossed, because it's a thick book. But so by the time the movie comes out, I will have read the manga. Mm-hmm. But sort of my love of the animated film and my feelings on animation in general sort of unfortunately put it at a disadvantage right out of the gate, because just the idea of, and it's on the big screen in live action, doesn't sell something for me.
Sure.
Especially if I feel like I've already seen that same thing done better in animation, which I felt actually about most of DC properties. If you saw Suicide Squad and you want a good Suicide Squad movie, seek out Batman Assault on Arkham.
I couldn't get you to see the Jungle Book because you've seen the original one.
Yeah. Now, I still plan to see this movie because Ghost in the Shell has been made and readapted and reinterpreted, and at this point, because there's two films in the original animated movies that they did. There are 2 full seasons of a TV show. There is a series of there's a newer series that they've done, and they haven't just readapted the manga story every time. So there's tons of new stuff to pull from. What I don't want is for them just to do what the original animated film did and just do it in live action, and
as if that's more legitimate.
Yes, but look, if I'm being fair, if I remove my thing, if all they do is recreate that animation in live action and you've never seen the original animation, it's going to be very cool. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I know that's one that I will go on. If it comes to our small room,
I think that's going to get a big enough release. It'll come
I will make the effort to see that.
So yeah, I think that'll about wrap us up.
Yeah.
So this might become a quarterly segment, and maybe when we get towards the end of March, we'll take a look at April through June. We'll call it a night on that one. Ryan, you have too much crap. What do you want to plug today?
Okay, I've got a number of podcasts on the Fire and Water Podcast Network that includes Batman Nightcast, Midnight, The Podcasting Hour, Power of Fishnets, and Give Me Those Star Wars. I am also the writer of the webcomic called My Pet Ninja, which is available at risingsuncomics.com, and one of the co-creators and writers of Red and Green, a webcomic also at risingsuncomics.com.
Okay, all right. I think he's done. Great. Okay, so thank you very much for joining me, Ryan.
Thank you for having me.
If you are watching this on YouTube, you can see an unedited and complete version of this discussion on the Council of Geeks podcast, available on iTunes and Stitcher. In any case, no matter how you are taking this in, thank you for joining, and until next time, this council is adjourned.
Click that thumb button right here. Thumb button right here. Click.